Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. Very good morning, ma'am. I welcome you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Please share the screen, ma'am. Now you are a host.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, can you see my
Yes,
screen now,
yes,
ma'am?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah, okay, fine. We shall wait for some 10
yes, sir.
minutes,
Yes,
is it
ma'am.
not, ma'am?
15
Okay,
in 15 minutes, ma'am.
15
9
minutes,
nine
ma'am.
45 only now.
All right,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank
much. Yeah, we'll wait. Yeah, my voice is clear, no, ma'am. No problem with
Yes,
the
ma'am.
voice.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Dr. Anita ma'am,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
we can start
I'm
ma'am.
here.
We can start ma'am.
Yeah, we should.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Very good morning to you all. It's a great honor and an immense pleasure for me to welcome you all for this one-day national webinar on emotional hijacking and psychosocial impact, a nuanced journey through life and society. First, I express my wholehearted and extend my gratitude to our patron, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor N. Panjanadam Sir, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, Chennai, for his constant encouragement and support, motivation, and guidance for making our programs in a grand success. Thank you, sir. Next, I extend my gratitude to our co-patron, most respected Registrar, Professor N. Balakrishnan, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, Chennai. Without your guidance and motivation, these programs would not have been possible. We shall be eternally grateful to you, sir, for your valuable contribute and support. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Next, I express my gratitude to our convener, most respected Professor M. Govindan, sir, Dean of Faculty, Controller of Examinations, Head of the Department of Education Psychology, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, Chennai, for his valuable support and helped our team to reach the top and achieve the goal. Thank you, sir. I would like to express my gratitude and warm welcome to the today's eminent resource person, Dr. X. Anita Arun, Assistant Professor of English, Pasumban Muthuramalingam Thevar College, Melanitha Nallur, Tenkasi District, Tamil Nadu. I welcome you, ma'am, with all my pleasant greetings. And I welcome all the organizing joint secretaries and all the organizing members. I welcome you all. Last but not least, I extend our hearty welcome to wonderful participants from various states across the country. I most welcome all the participants. Once again, I welcome you all. I am very delighted and excited to introduce our eminent resource persons, Dr. S. Anita Arul, Assistant Professor of English, Pasumban Muthuramalinga Thevar College, Tenkasi district. Dr. Anita Arul ma'am completed her BA English in Sri Parasakti College for Women, Kutralam. She completed her MA English, Holy Cross College, Nagarkoil, and BEd in St. Joseph College of Education, Mettur. She completed her M.Ed in Nallamani College of Education, Tenkasi, and MPhil in Manonmaniam Sundaranar University, Tirunelveli. She completed her doctorate in education in Manonmaniam Sundaranar University, Tirunelveli. First, she worked as the English lecturer in Sri Parasakti College for Women, Kutralam, handled both UG and PG classes. She handled classes for BA English students belonging to the Directorate of Distance Education, Periyar University, Manonmaniam Sundaranar University, Tirunelveli. She worked as a BPO trainer. She worked as an English teacher. She worked as a communicative English tutor in various schools and in reputed institutions. She guided students in projects to support research. She appointed as an external examiner and question paper setter. She appointed as a doctoral committee member and PhD supervisorship since 2017 and mentoring PhD scholars. She is holding the additional responsibilities coordinator of various programs as a presiding officer in Lok Sabha elections, member of IQAC coordinator. She has given lectures as a trainer for B.Ed colleges, guest of honor of cultural program, and forward to magazines. She served as a resource person for many more seminars. She served as an invited speaker for literacy events and club activities and judged many events. She attended 25 and more than number of seminars, conferences, workshops, and webinars. She paper presented in national and international level seminars, conference, and workshop, etc. She published in four national and six international research articles in the reputed journals. She published in 15 national books as chapters. She has a lot of experiences in the professional side. She's a woman of strong work ethic, very attentive, very energetic, knowledgeable, selfless, and responsible person. She's a good developer of the students, good trainer, good motivator, and good thinker. Her strength or her attitude that she likes to take challenges, that she can do it. Her way of thinking is always in positive manner. She believes in herself and her hard work, and she wants always perfection in everything. Still, she is a learner with the strength of every expanding knowledge thrust. Dr. X Anita Arulmam, I feel very happy for your presence and on behalf of our organizing team and the participants. I welcome you, ma'am, with all my pleasant greetings. Now I hand over this session to Dr. X Anita Arul, madam. Please, ma'am. Ma'am, unmute yourself, please. Ma'am, please unmute yourself. Ma'am, please unmute. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Good morning to everyone. I thank you so much for your elaborate introduction about me, ma'am. Thanks a lot, and for the wonderful welcome note too. Before which, I just want to thank Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University and the organizing secretary and the organizing committee members for giving me this incredible opportunity, which was real. I feel really grateful for that. I'm really overwhelmed to see the tireless work of the entire team actually for the outcome of all these things. Thank you so much. I think I can enter into the session right now. See, we are going to deal with emotional hijacking and psychosocial impact, right? On society and life, everything. We are going to have a mix up, or we are going to see, because this is the most tireless. We are really very much tired of all the pandemic that we have been seeing so far. In every 100 years, we are meeting out with all these things, and we are really tired of all these things, right? So we just want to come out of this. We need a solution being in the society. So before which, we have to make sure that life is not a problem to be solved, but reality to be experienced. See, hijacking is nothing but it is an act of unlawfully seizing, take over something that doesn't belong to you. That is what we mention as hijacking. Just think for a while. What about our mindset? Where are we now in life? How are we going to face the situations? Are we ready for a change? So far, what we have contributed, what have we contributed to the society? Have we helped anyone to come out of depression being an educationist? What kind of lessons we have drawn from this pandemic? Are we respectful towards nature? We have to be really think over all these things. Let us find out some answers in this webinar. See, like physical health, mental health is also very important, as we all know. Mental health is a total aspect of our whole personality. It matters a lot. So, mental hygiene, it must be, we have to live a well-balanced life to bring out the best thing in our life. I'm going to show here a tripod of health, right? Here, only when heredity, environment, individual, all these things mix together, when these function in a proper way, our health will be good. And also, apart from that, our mental health will also be good. The equilibrium of this balance, automatically will leads to maladjustment, behavioral disorders and mental illness. Each person in everyday life must be dealt with. See, we are undergo strain, depression, or unpleasant situation in life. These psychological symptoms lead an individual seeking for a way out to escape or release the pain, tension, and depression. We always find a way out. This is called escapism, as it is told. So, the disequilibrium leads us to come out of some kind of stress that we go through in our life. We can tell that the history of escapism began as a result of society's depression during or after the First World War. Because of all the frustration they faced in the society after the war, joblessness, insecurity, feel, and all those things all leads to this. So our emotions are being hijacked. That is the very fact. And here, if we take heredity, what are the things that are most essential? Is body structure, physical vulnerability, gene mutation, inheritance. These are the factors that really contributes to heredity and its wealthiness or healthiness. Environment, if you say, sanitation is very important, hygiene, infections, workload, pollution, everything matters a lot to bring out the best environment in our life. And then when you consider individual style, attitude, values, interests, dietary habits, malnutrition, stress, these we might wonder whether all these things really matters a lot for an individual to keep up his lifestyle forever. Yes, that is, they are responsible for. So a mentally healthy person, how he has to be. He must possess a good mode of living. He must know himself so well. And only when you know about yourself, when you are self-aware of yourself, you will be able to reach your goal. Before you set a goal in our life, what we should have to, we must be aware of ourselves. We must know what is what. We must be aware that I am able to do all these things so well. We have to be very much aware of that. And then social adaptability must be there. We must be able to have a good and healthy contact with the people around us. And flexibility must be there in our communication or in our way of behavior with the people. Emotionally matured and stable. We must have to be emotionally matured enough and we must have to be stable. And harmony with socially approved goals. We have to develop a kind of harmony with everything. Insight into his own goals. As I told you, you have to set a goal so that there will be a drive within you to reach the goal and you will be able to go fast or run as fast as you can. And sense of belongingness and loyalty, which is very, very important for a mentally healthy person. Belongingness, as we think, it is not an easy process. It is a kind of feel when we are denied of belongingness, when we started feeling alienated from a particular place, or when we are isolated, or when we are cornered by something in a place where we, let it be the work environment, or let it be the place where you study, or let it be a place where you don't belong to. You are in you are in a new place. It doesn't matter. The sense of belongingness is a must for every individual, so that they will develop a thirst to work for those people. They will develop a kind of happiness or a kind of satisfaction, a contented feel you get only when there is a sense of belongingness in your mind. Without, when you feel alienated in a particular place, some people may say, no, I am cornered and I am not able to mingle with some people here in my working environment, and I suffer a lot of that. So the basic thing is, when you lack the sense of belongingness, you may not be able to cope up with the situation. That is what so every for each and every one, whether it is a home or whether it is in any place for that matter, you need to feel, you need to get a sense of belongingness and loyalty, and then enthusiastic and reasonable. You must be enthusiastic as well as you must be reasonable for each and everything that you do. We can say, why all these things? How come we become a mentally healthy person? We may be aware of Sigmund Freud. So, he regarded the basic human instinct as seething cauldron, actually. It seeks pleasure that blindly strives for gratification, regardless of the consequences. See, gratification is very, very important for for us to develop a kind of mental healthiness, because we all suffer. See, only when we are recognized, only when we are gratified in some place or so, we will be able to work so well. We will get the chance to do it only when you are appreciated. When only you get the recognition for your work that you have done, or only when you get the instant gratification, at least, yeah, well done, you did a great job there. So when you find some words, only when you get some words of appreciation in your daily work, that alone will help you to move further, actually. When nobody is appreciating for your work, when you don't get any gratification for your work, as Sigmund Freud says, you may not be able to move further. It is the fact, actually. We cannot say, no, I don't expect anything and I do my work. We cannot. At some point, we may feel completely dejected, or we may feel completely frustrated, uh, only because we don't receive any recognition for what we have done so far. So, as Sigmund Freud says, we blindly strives for gratification, though we are not aware or conscious of it. Unconsciously, the seeking pleasure for gratification is inbuilt in each and every human being. The restraints of the society are incorporated internally during the Freud says, during the first few years of childhood, it is inbuilt. The first curbs on behavior are based on a simple thing. See, when we are about to do something, we were being stopped by something. That is the first curb of childhood, is only based on a simple thing, that is fear. Okay, fear of social conscious consequences, maybe of scolding or maybe of spanking. Some may think, why should I should not do this. Immediately, the reason might be because of the fear you have for the society, or because of the internal, or because of the family constraints. So the fear is the one that curbs us, our behavior. So eventually what happens, the child inhibits his misdeeds. Immediately the child stops because he or she feels bad, and not because she fears that she will be caught. It is not, and punished. At this point, the taming force of the society is internalized. It is inbuilt in each and every one of us. The stereotype society has a framework that it inbuilt within us, that we, in the first few years of a childhood itself, we are trained or tamed in such a way we are not supposed to do anything against the society, or anything against the morality. So the forbidden impulses, actually, we may think that it has been ruled out. Nothing like that. The forbidden impulses cannot be ruled out completely from our mind. They can be denied for a while, that's it. But eventually, they will reassert themselves, often through new and envious channels, leading to further measures. So, as a result, there is a constant conflict between the demands of instinct and of society. So, only for a while it is stopped, and inside within our mind, there is a constant conflict that goes on. What should I do? a conflict is being within which cannot be denied. So, but this war goes on underground, Freud says. So it remains in the unconscious, according to him. So, and also he says, uh, when conflict is external, see, when you fight within yourself, when you have conflict within yourself, it is too hard for you to come out. If it is open, or if you can see the conflict external, right, if you can see the antagonist external, it will be easy for us to sort out, right? The antagonists are easily identified. David, go. So you can say, yeah, this is David, this is Goliath, or this is Satan, and this is God. We can easily identify if you are able to see the antagonist externally, and so on. So, but according to Freud, what happens? They are the warring forces. When the conflict is within the individual, that is what he says. They are the warring forces we cannot see, but we can really feel it. It stays in our unconscious mind. So he says that it is a devised, a kind of, he talks about a threefold classification of our conflicting tendencies within the individual, as we are familiar with the ego and superego. They are just names he gave to three sets of different reaction patterns. So the conflict among these three factors, or inside the individual, every individual have this. We cannot say, no, I don't have all these things. No, we do have. And they are derived from childhood experiences. That is what important. What are all the things that we do? Everything we gain in the first few years of our early childhood. And they are waged within, without the individual conscious awareness. See, everything, we are not conscious of everything, but we say, no, I don't have any conflict within my mind, but we do have. All right. We can see, we suffer out of all these things: anxiety, guilt, phobias, obsessions. Out of all these things, we suffer out of in our life. That is what the conflict that we have within us. That is what the emotional disequilibrium that is caused within our mind, all these because of this, right? Anxiety, guilt, phobias, obsessions. So, anxiety, we may think, why am I suffering out of this? No, I'm perfect. I don't have any guilt. I'm perfect. I don't have any phobias. I don't have any fear for anything. I don't have any obsessions. All these things you may think of, okay? You may think, I'm very clear, I'm out of all these things. No, actually, we suffer out of all these things. Anxiety, if we take, it's a kind of uneasy mental state concerning impending or anticipated ill. Actually, the problem, we don't have it. It is marked by apprehension, uneasiness, and foreboding from which the individual cannot escape, right? Because you anticipate something which is not real, so you cannot come out of it that easily. And though anxiety develops from fear and worry, it is more vague than fear. Okay, there is a difference. Unlike fear, it does not come from an existing situation. If we have a fear for something, the situation exists, and so we do have a fear. But this does not come from fear, existing situation. But from an anticipated one. Actually, I can quote here from W.B. Yeats, a poet, an Irish poet, in his poem "A Prayer for My Daughter." He has registered the anticipation. The occasion of the poem is that poem was written immediately after the birth of his daughter, immediately after the 2 days or so. So he has registered there the fear that he has for the daughter, for his daughter. How am I going to bring up my daughter? By that time, there was political, economic crisis was there in the place. So having all those things in mind, he was worried. He was much in anxiety that how am I going to bring out my daughter? Even now, you can see during this, COVID-19, it has brought much anxiety in the mind of the parents when they think of their, as well as teachers, when we think of our future generation, what we are going to do, the anxiety we do have developed in our mind, is it not? Uh, how am I going to bring up my children? How am I going to help my students to come out of this fear, or the fear of all the possibilities that has been so far in the society and which has been denied right now. So we develop a kind of anxiety in our mind. And how can that is cloaks of anxiety, I'm sorry, there is a typo error, boisterous and show off behavior. So how can a question may arise in your mind, how am I going to judge, how can I come to a conclusion that this particular person is suffering out of anxiety? Boisterous and show of behavior, uh, when you identify a person with that, you can easily tell that particular person is suffering out of anxiety. When you feel bored up, when you don't know what to do, when you really when you're really carried away by the routine or the monotonous lifestyle, and when you feel insecure, ill at ease, okay, you are in a comfortable zone, but then a kind of insecure feel really disturbs you then and there. And then avoidance of anxiety threatening situations. So the anxiety threatening situations, see, they know that they are suffering, that they do have some problem, but they show as though they are not of all those things, they are very good. So when they avoid particular situation and they don't want to accept, i am in a I'm in a distress or I'm in a crisis. So that person can be easily identified that they are suffering out of anxiety. And when you go for characteristic reactions, so particular reactions may show that these people are suffering and out of character behavior. They behave so abnormal, and excessive use of mass media and excessive eating may also cause anxiety. And phobia, the next people who suffers out of, actually phobia is nothing but there is a persistent fear you have towards some object or situation, not with everyone or every situation that you met, that presents no actual danger to the person. Actually, that is not going to give any kind of dangerous, it is not going to focus upon, or it is not going to show you any kind of a danger. Actually, it is not going to end up in danger, but then we do have a fear towards particular situation or towards particular objects without any danger. It's a persistent fear, continuous fear which you carry in your mind, that is phobia. So what are the factors responsible for that? So intelligence, when you are this is also what about my status of intelligence? Am I poor in learning? What am I doing? Should I cope up with the society? Am I lagging behind in the society? Will I be able to come over? We compare our intelligence with others, and that brings, that's a kind of that results in phobia. Okay. And then sex, being being a female, am I not able to do this? So all these things, being a male in this particular place, will I not be able to satisfy my job, or will I not be able to work for the contentment? So all these things reflects, or all these things we chew in our mind. And then socio-economic status. So when you're not aware of where we are, what am I doing? Again, I say, when you are not aware of yourself, self-analysis is a must. We must know where we are and what we do. So when you are aware of all these things, you don't create any unnecessary fear in your mind. When you are not aware of yourself, so those things really results in all these problems in our life, or conflicts in our life. then physical condition. I'm not that much. Some people may have the complex, as we have, as would have been seen in psychology. We'd have studied the if a person is too tall, some people may have an obsession or a fear to go and stand near the tall people. They don't like the complexion and everything. So many things are there. If they are weak or if they are physically challenged people, they may have a kind of fear that what am I going to do in my life with all these things. So these are the factors responsible for phobia. It results in phobia. This is the persistent fear, as I told you, but this does not going to bring any kind of actual danger to the people. That's what we have to keep in our mind. Then social contacts, ordinal position, social contacts. If I have contact with some particular people, only then I will be able to survive in the society. If I don't have a contact with some particular people, I may not be able to survive. See, some people may feel that I'm not able to create a kind of good willingness with the people. I really lack in that. So, will this affect my life, or will this give me any pain in my life? All these things we have the fear. So nowadays, and we can see children using the mobile. They really don't know how to have contact with the people. So this really creates a kind of anxiety among teachers and parents, because when they are not able to contact or see to the person and talk, they lack in the communication. Communication is not only the language, but also it matters. The body language and everything matters a lot. So the social contact between or among the people, or really in a crisis, we can say. So we teachers and parents, we are really bothered. How are they going to communicate with the people in the society? All these things are in the mind. So with the phobia, will they talk? See, everyone nowadays, the children, they don't want to go directly and meet the person, talk with the person, get the help of the person. They want some mediator, because they lack, they are always with the mobile, and they found lack in verbal knowledge. So they are not able to do that as well. Ordinal position. So ordinal position also matters a lot. That gives, if it is the first child of the family, first child of the family will always be, a kind of hesitation will be there in the mind. If it is the second or the third child, that will not be there. So being the first child, the responsibility, it carries more and more responsibility. Yeah, automatically, the stereotype society laid more responsibility on the first child. So all these things, these are the factors responsible. And then security again. When you suffer out of insecure feel, no one can exist in the society so happily, and they may not be able to come up with good ideas, or they may not be able to stand or be constant in some way or the other in the society. So for which secure feel is very important, and that brings, when you suffer out of insecurity, that results in phobia. And next we can see is obsession. See, anxiety we have seen, phobia, obsessions. We may think that I'm not suffering out of these things, but we do. That's what I'm trying. Here, the person seems compelled to think about something that he wishes not to think about, or to carry out actions that he does not want to carry out. That's it. So he wants to, he was obsessed with that thought. We may think, just come out of this. Don't ever think of that again and again, and uh, go into the place from where you are suffering. Go and meet the people, those who really hurt you. Don't do that. Just come out of this. Don't be obsessed with the thought. Uh, Actually, he doesn't have the mind to think about that again and again. But what happens? The actions or some reference things or something that he has uh, experienced made him think about that. So obsession, we should not, if you see people, when we suffer out of obsession, what happens, we may not be able to do the next work or the deed. We will be in that constantly, thinking over that again and again. So what happens automatically, eventually we may not be able to achieve anything. That's it. So it may result in, concern with bodily function, or health gets affected. So what we do, we some may result, it may leads us to do some immoral activity, and then attempting suicide. Final solution to the finding solution to the unsolvable problem. What we do, actually there will not be any problem, and also our mind says no, don't think of that. We are all aware, but what happens, again and again we go deep into it, so that, if people got affected in some way or the other, or when they are affected with some phobias or anxiety, or obsessed thought, what they'll do, they will be advised to take to another place. The change of place will be helpful for them to uh, come out of this obsession. So all these things we just try out. When we think of, children, those who come to our institution to learn, they may think of something. They may think, they some would have hurt them, some would have been degraded them. What they do, instead of finding a solution, they think and they just brood over the thing again and again. So automatically, what happens? It may result in some immoral activity. That is it. So we people, the elders and the educators or the instructors, we must be there to guide them in the right way. So we will be aware of everything. So why this children is like that? We must help them. We must always lend a helping hand to bring out these type of children out of the obsession. So because the future generations nowadays are really, they are really aching, or they have a desire to do something, but they don't know the proper way of doing. And also, being a single child, or maximum two children in a home, they are brought up in such a way that they are not ready to accept any kind of criticism. When they are criticized, or when they are being broken, they feel that they should have to end up their life. That is actually, we instructors, we educationists, what we should have to do, we have to pick out what about their emotional state of children in the classroom. Why the particular child who was really good yesterday, and now why child is obsessed with his thought today? Why? What happened to his emotion? What is he doing now? See, these are the things that really help the future generations to shine better. So we are responsible for that. And guilt. Uh, See, what is guilt? It is an emotional experience or a conflict that having done something that one believes one should not have done. Actually, we carry the guilt. Because of this, I'm suffering. It gives rise to a feeling which does not go away easily, driven by conscience. Okay, this feeling will never go away easily. So that we say, you should not suffer everywhere. Even when we take spiritualism or anything as such, we may find that the people say you should not suffer out of guilt. For our so many illness that we have in our mind, in our body, guilt is the main cause. Because we feel trembled, or we feel somewhat collapsed, because we feel that we do have, I did this, I was blamed for this, right? See, false responsibility in the family. Sometimes the people may lay a kind of um, responsibility on the shoulder of the eldest person in the family. So you are the eldest person, and they never care about the other people in the family. All the responsibility will be carried out by the eldest people, and you are responsible, whether it is good or bad, whatever the thing that happens, you are responsible. The false responsibility that is being laid upon the shoulder of the children right from the childhood, when they are, and at one point, and also if in a family there is a girl and a boy, and the people, they used to tell, see, I have a you are the big brother, and you are the brother, you are the son, and you have to take care of your sister also, and you should not, you cannot escape from this, you are responsible. And so many responsibilities, false responsibilities has been laid. When it is laid at one certain point, when the child is not able to do it, when the child is not able to fulfill the desire of their parents, what happened automatically? The child finds fault with himself or herself. Oh, I was brought up in such a way, but now I'm not able to do this. I really suffer out of this. So it gives a feeling which do not which cannot be easily taken away. We think that oh, I'm bringing up my child so well. I'm bringing up my even in the classroom. If we can say that you are the leader and you are responsible for what are the things that happen. But actually, when the child is able to do it, everyone will lay all their works on the shoulder or the back of the child, and he will force to do it. So when all these false responsibilities are being laid upon the shoulders of the children or the students of the future generation, what happens? It results in guilt, and that stays in their mind forever, the false guilt. And they suffer. Oh, all these works has been given by my parents. All the work given by my children, my elders, my teachers, but I'm not able to do that. So uh, they suffer out of this, and they cry for this, and their present responsibilities, they may not be able to fulfill. They cannot do it. So it is a kind of a very bad emotional experience. So self-blame. So they always self-blame. You can see people, they always self-blame for the things that has not been done. So if they are not able to do something, they'll say, no, I did all these things in my early childhood. I was denied of all these things, and I was not able to do this, that, so that I suffer now. Whatever the thing that I do, uh, I may not be able to do it in a perfect way, because I have got cursed from everyone, and I was not able to do that. So they self-blame themselves. We can come across some people in our day-to-day life also as such. So when you see people that they are self-blaming, you can easily identify that they suffer out of the out of guilt, okay, an emotional experience or a conflict. So codependency. They always want to depend on these people, one who suffer out of guilt. They just want to depend on everyone. They cannot do anything so independently. They always depend on people around. They feel shame also. Okay, they don't know what to do. They feel shame on themselves. They don't come out in a social gathering. They feel quite satisfied. No, being alone, I'll be able to do all these things. But the reason is they shame to come out of this. We can see in our day-to-day life, in the classroom setup, in institution, or even in a social gathering, some children, they are not bold enough to come out of. They always feel shame. We sometimes we say that they feel shame to my son or my daughter, or she or he feels ashamed to participate in this social event or something. So these things are really because of the guilt they do carry in their mind, and we really have to identify those things. Without identifying, it may be a fault that we carry in our mind as teachers. Right. So what happens when we don't see, when we don't do this? It is like Jack in the box. we may have been come across this jack in the box, see, the repressed material is not really eradicated. We must always have this in mind. We think, okay, I have, all these things are my childhood experiences, and I don't have, I'm not carrying all these things in my mind, and it's very clear. It is not actually. See, the repressed material is not really eradicated, but it remains in the unconscious status. So the repressed ideas, what happens, still exert a powerful effect. Again and again, what happens, you repress, you feel that I do repress all these things in my mind. That's the jack in the box. When you repress all these things, mind, what happens? You just come out of it one day or the other. So, and that too, the powerful effect. So again and again, when you push it inside, so fueled by the biological urges that gave rise to them in the first place, or triggered by associations in here or there. So when you find associated, when you are able to associate some of your repressed feel with some situations that happens around, what happened? Automatically it comes out. Even you yourself would wonder, what happened to me? I am good. I didn't do anything wrong. But what happened? Everything. I'm not able to control my emotions. I'm so sorry. We used to tell sometimes, right? When you come across certain situations in your life, you may feel that, no, I don't mind. I'm not going to bother about this, or I'm not going to see what happened. Or automatically, at some point, what happens? You burst out of. So later you realize, oh, I'm so sorry. Am I this? I shouldn't have behaved like this. Why am I like this? What happened to me? So all these, these are all the repressed ideas. All these repressed ideas will up again. Okay, they also bring back anxiety, phobia, and guilt, obsessions, and once more push down again. The result is what happens. So what happens? You again push it down. Oh, am I the one who behaved so cruelly in the social gathering? Am I the one who has shouted like this to the people? All these things you used to wonder when you are alone. But what happens? By that time you burst out, and you repress all these feelings in your mind. It stays in your mind. It is a never ending unconscious conflict we have to keep in our mind. All right. And see, no matter how resourceful we may be, actually, we may think, no, I'm very good in controlling my emotions, or I'll be able to handle any emotion so quietly, so well. All these things we may have in our mind. So, but no matter how resourceful we may be in coping with problems, the circumstances of life, inevitably involves stress. Unavoidably, we cannot, right? Our motives are not always easily satisfied. Obstacles must be overcome, right? We must have to overcome our obstacles. We have to make choices sometime or the other, and delays tolerated. If there is a delay in work in some place or by some people, what you should have to do, we have to tolerate that. So we cannot say, no, I'm well educated, or I know all the theories in psychology, or I'm well versed in psychology, or in anything. But we do, how resourceful we might be, some circumstances are there where inevitably or unavoidably we have to meet up with stress. So each of us develops characteristic. So what happens? What we do? We develop brain. Okay, our characteristic way of responding when our attempts to reach desired goals are blocked. So when we are traveling, all through our life so well. When our process is being blocked, what happens? We find our own way of responding. Is it not? So the unpleasant suffering or the threatening situations have to be treated in a healthy way. So for which we use defense mechanisms. It helps in channels untold painful moments. So, here we may think all the mechanisms actually or found in everyday life. We use this, which I just want to tell you. Have you ever done this? See, some questions. Just think.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, what happened?
ma'am, unmute yourself, ma'am,
Ma'am,
please.
shall I?
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes,
have unmuted. Shall
yes,
I? Shall I share the screen now?
yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Uh, do you? Yeah, thank you. Do you blame others? Some questions we have to ask to ourselves. Do you blame others? Have you ever come out with bundle of excuses? Just think over. That too interesting, right? We will always be ready to come out with some excuses, interesting excuses. And in our day-to-day life also, we see in our classrooms we used to see, right, people or students come out with that much of excuses, and we to encourage that, right? See, the giving excuses, actually the main uh, teaching that we have to tell to our students or encourage our students not to give excuses. Just face the situations, do the situation, try to solve the situations. These are the things that we have to tell. But have you denied? Think of, have you ever been under the tantrum of hero worship? Have you ever come across the feeling, have you ever, have your unwelcomed emotions be transferred onto others? Imagine, we may think, oh yeah, I did all these things. Have you ever tried to come across the inferior feeling? Yes, we would have. We cannot say, no, I haven't been so far done as such. No, we cannot say as such. One time or the other, we would have done in our life. This is the basic human tendency. All right, we cannot say no, I didn't. So all the mechanisms ought to be found in the everyday behavior. These are the mechanisms we say, right, of normal people. We use in more. See, if we use all these mechanisms in moderation, they increase satisfaction in living, and therefore helpful modes of adjustments. Okay, these we think, the defense mechanisms, we think that they are in a helpful mode of adjustment. It is only when the mechanisms become dominant. What happens when it is in the normal mode? It's okay. Yeah, I too used to blame others in order to escape, or I too used to come out with bundle of excuses. All right, if it is in a standard mode, no issues at all. Or if you, yeah, I used to deny. When I think of, yeah, I used to deny, no, I don't know all these things. Suddenly we'll tell, in order to escape from certain situations. So you can say, yeah, I too did. So, yeah, I do have the chant of some heroes. I have a passion for some heroes or heroine, or towards some people whom I admire. I do have. So, and also you can see that, yeah, this particular time, I try to come out of my inferior feeling. And also unwelcomed emotions, when you feel that you are blamed for something by some people, and you want to transfer all these things. So what happened? There you use the defense mechanisms. Okay, so here when you use the defense mechanism in normal mode, it's not going to affect you in any way. And if you use all these mechanisms in a dominant mode, what happens? Automatically, it indicates that there is a maladjustment in your personality. All right, so you can see, you may feel that, yeah, I have denied all these things. Oh, I'm so sorry. I did this. it's your fault. It's not my fault. All you used to do, is it not? So that's it. That there our defense mechanism. We blame others. Yeah, it's not me. It is them. It is he. It is she. And have you ever thought that these affect our mental hygiene when it goes beyond its limit? Have you ever thought as such? Actually, it is the fact, when it goes beyond its limit, really it affects our personal maladjustment. It leads to our personal maladjustment. We suffer out of that. So, see, these defense mechanisms, so far it has been used by people. Um, Moreover, 50 percentage or 60 percentage of the people in the world, all over the world, might be using these defense mechanisms in a normal world, but others would not have been. So what we have to do for them, and this time we are living in pandemic period, right? People are suffering out of lack of so many things. When we see going by the cycle of events, even one tends to believe if this pandemic pattern is scripted by God. A pandemic devastates the whole world. Every century, actually, we can say, every 100 years, and perhaps coronavirus has been God by destiny in this cycle. See, this is the event that happens, right? So during this pandemic or earlier, before which, what kind of weapon you use as a shield in order to keep up your ego? Actually, why do we use this defense mechanism? We use this in order to shield ourselves, right? Protect ourselves from what? From our ego. We deny immediately. No, I didn't tell this. If somebody is blaming us, no, you are the one who blamed me for this. Suddenly, what we say? No, I didn't do anything. We deny immediately. Why so? In order to keep up our ego. That's it. So there we use the defense mechanisms. That's what I told you. When we use the defense mechanisms in a normal mode, it is not at all going to affect us in any way. But when we go beyond that, what happens automatically? It affects our entire personality. Okay, we have to think, what? I didn't do this. Or you may show your anger instead of showing on to somebody else. And that is also a kind of defense mechanisms that you use there, and you use it because in order to protect your ego. Like people, every 100 years they suffered so much, or their entire lifestyle has been changed because of the pandemic. All right, every 100 years, this is a cycle that has been conquering the world every 100 years, we can say. See, this affect our psychological and sociological life as well as the society. So, what is that? How it? And why do we use this defense mechanisms? And also, this defense mechanism, it's not safe. They are more dangerous. They damage themselves than the disease itself. Actually, we must accept that. Okay, it damage the disease is, it's better than this defense mechanisms. We may think at certain point. So defense mechanism is really more dangerous and damaging than the disease itself. That is what. Okay, and this is going to be, and here I'm going to structure my talk in such a way that pandemic and psychosocial impact, and what is a shield or mechanism that we are using, picking out some only few mechanisms, and why do we use mechanisms? Why? What is the necessity of? As I have told you, using of mechanism is not a welcomable act. We cannot appreciate that. It is in order to escape from certain things, we are using our defense mechanisms, which is not a prize-worthy thing. And this is going to be my structure of the talk. And here, you can see once in 100 years, we met with this pandemic, or I can put it in some other words that pandemic rules or conquers the world. So in 1720 plague and cholera, Spanish flu, and coronavirus. Black Death, the first in 1720 is the deadliest. The world was plagued by the pandemic called plague, and the Black Death was the deadliest pandemic recorded in history, as we all know. The tragedy lay in the fact that there was no space. There's no space for anything. What a situation was. I had to observe mass here. Okay, and next one is cholera, and the year 20, and then 1920 you have got Spanish flu. Claimed its number of spilled. It was also vicious. And now in 2020, coronavirus. So see, 100 years after the emergence of ma'am,
Ma'am?
hear my voice? Can
Yes,
you hear
ma'am.
my voice?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Being educationists, we must find a way to find a solution or lead the society in the positive way, actually. So, it's 100 years after the Spanish flu devastation that was witnessed. There is a thought that coronavirus is here, and it perhaps marks the pandemic script.
Ma'am?
Yeah, can you hear? There is a break. Hello?
Ma'am?
Can you hear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Shall I continue? Shall I continue?
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Yeah. Okay. So there is a thought that coronavirus is there, and that it perhaps marks the
Ma'am,
pandemic scripted for
screen is not
2020.
visible, ma'am. Share your screen, ma'am.
Is it visible now?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So we have all these things in the mind, whether this thing is very good, or what the fatal virus that has been put on Indian soil. So we educationists are responsible to take out all the fear from the mind of the people. So, however, we all know that government officials, health experts all around the world are bending backwards to battle this perilous virus. See, uh, from what we should have to, where we are responsible, what we should have to do is we have to take the people out of fear and suspicion. and then out of stigmatization, and we have to teach the moralization, and then community response. What is the responsibilities that we do have towards the society? All these things we should have to take care of. Fear, the every 100 years we are meeting out with this pandemic, and every 100 years we are here with the fear in the mind. At the very beginning, at the very beginning of this new pandemic, when so much was unknown and the virus was confined to Wuhan province in China, there was people's imagination that is, it might not reach our shores. It is not going to come to our place. As the number of cases increased, confirmed cases of illness started to spike. What happened? So did public anxiety, which is largely fueled. And they start an obsession with new habits. See, we started obsession with a new habit of washing our hands, right? Maintaining distance from other people, so to avoid sneezing, coughing. So there is also the sudden interruption in social empathy that usually comes through shaking hands also, right? So we started developing some new habits. So people start developing a compulsive fear that stays in the mind, right? The anxiety towards, so that the virus may be transmitted through any number of different routes. So this leads in some people to irrational phobic feeling, okay, that suspects the whole environment. So they suffer out of that. So the fear, the swift rise of fear and people due to uncertainty of the disease, what happened to lead significant psychological and psychiatric disturbances, post-traumatic distress. As we have seen, depression, anxiety, panic disorders, and behavioral disorders. So staying away from family, loneliness, misinformation on social media, financial insecurity, stigmatization, all these occupies our mind. Okay, actually, this is the biological immune system. Okay, see, this is the concept in biology of the biological immune system. When some foreign thing attacks, it protects our body. Here I've learned during this pandemic that there is a kind of behavioral immune system. This useful concept in psychology. Okay, this is the concept used by the psychologists. So it is based on the idea that our biological immune system, actually, when it is not sufficient to help us avoid infections, all right, I repeat, when our biological immune system is not that sufficiently there to help us avoid infections, because we cannot see things like microbes or bacteria or virus. This behavior immune system is like psychological system that enables us to detect pathogens by looking at clues. Okay, so this is the behavioral immune system. So we can see right now that this behavioral immune system is in the form of fear of other people, races, migrants start cropping up. Yes, you can also see racial discriminations there, and that has come to the force. And with this outbreak, which originated in Wuhan, China, there was an upsurge of stigmatization, avoidance, fear, and harassment towards people. You can see, we can say of Chinese ancestry and of ancient descent in general. So some Chinese students also in India say they were asked to go back to their place, go back to the infected country. Many are reported targets of xenophobia, right? And racism has uprooted now. So because of this behavioral immune system, so many racial discriminations have been uprooted, which have been laid down or muted for some years at least. This has become the source of suspicion. Virus do not discriminate. Neither should we. We too don't discriminate, all right. Or it's also stigmatizing China politically, by calling pandemic as a Chinese virus was also recently rejected by WHO and other human rights organizations. See, reflection of stigmatization. Um, we should not, as human beings, we have to lend our hands to help others. We should not stigmatize. Okay, I'm not a virus. You should not show that. And against health workers, right? Virus, no work. Actually, the health workers are also on the pathetic scenario. They are not supported, given enough support. They are not given enough support by the people around. They are neglected by the society. A kind of stigmatization is shown towards them, which has to be stopped. And we educationists, we must come forward to stop pointing. Okay, we have to help the people to come over the fear of pandemic. That's what. And when you take moralization, so many of them says that it is a judgment from God has given this judgment, and it is a punishment for sins. Let us not let us not go in this way. But we have to be in a position, or we have to stand in a position in order to tell that, see, we are all human beings, and only because of our behavior, as Gayatri's 5 says, only because of our behavior we must be able to come out of all these things. And when we see migrant workers, those who are the affected people in the society during this pandemic, without work, they are thrown away by the tenant, having infection. They walk 600 or 400 kilometers from one place to another place. But what happened? They are not allowed to enter into their village, though they know that they have traveled for 600 or 800 kilometers. They'll be really tired, and they are really in need of some place to be rested, and they have come to our place for as a refuge, overcoming, surpassing all these ideas. The people of the natives are not ready to attend. They are thrown away by the people from even from their own native land, telling or claiming that they have got inaction. They don't want to occupy them in their home. They are not allowed. So what they do, they climb up trees, or they go up on the top of the tree, and they stay up there. And why do they stay in the top of the tree? Because if they come down, they are beaten by the people, telling you are infected. So you cannot accompany our family members. So see, how do we look certain kind of situations? We have to think over. We should not show a kind of stigmatization. We should not give place for xenophobia also. So here, Barkadat, might be familiar. You might all be knowing about her. She's a very popular and controversial journalist. One on a midnight one day, when she was crossing she came across migrant workers there, and she says, "I set out to cover a pandemic, but what I saw was a humanitarian crisis on an unprecedented scale." I come from a partition family, so I grew up listening to stories of hardship and migration from my parents, but I never once thought I would see it with my own eyes. So this is what the situation of the people. So these children, we must make sure that these children are not denied of education in the future period. They are given education. They are supported by educationists as and we are here to support us. All these things we must carry in our mind. So what about the psychosocial impact? So many social death than biological death. That is the fact. Because of joblessness, the migrant workers, they feel they suffer out of social death than the biological death. And then white, black people position exaggerated. So the racism got uprooted here and there. and then modern laborers, we can see many, and cannot see any occupational achievement. So during this, we cannot see. So when there is not, when there is no job, or when there is no proper job or something like that, what we have to come forward to lend their hands to come out of that. And how can we do it? By educating their children whenever possible, where whatever the situation may be. So we have to do it. And disposable lives. So who has been disposed from the society? That matters a lot during this pandemic. It was decided by some particular sect of people, and then helplessness, complete helplessness. Uh, the people, they suffered out of helplessness. They don't know where to get the help, what to do, what kind of life we are going to live in the future. So they, a kind of helplessness, a feel, a sense they started sensing in their mind, heart, and in the body. Social isolation was there, as I told you. Mental health issues started erupting here and there, and then identity crisis was there, and see, sense of loss of identification. I'm not, see, you don't belong. Immediately, the people are encouraged. See, the people so far has been encouraged by some particular area, or by particular concern, or by particular institution. What happened automatically? They are denied of the place. They are thrown away from that place. And what happens in the society? There erupts identity crisis. When you don't feel identified to a certain institution or to a certain place, what happens automatically? A kind of pain that enters into the mind, and it may leads to the complete, it collapses the confidence. When you don't feel identified to certain place, your confidence is being collapsed, and you cannot do anything so well. So identity crisis starts uprooting, and unable to extend the normal social courtesies. And you cannot give a hand, or you cannot see to the person, and you cannot have a hug. All these things, you are not able to extend some social courtesies. And doctors turned hot and cold when they saw COVID patients. So this is the reality. This is the psychosocial impact that you can see in the society. The impact of see, children are more affected. The most affected, I can say. They miss the touch of their parents, especially if they are doctors, nurses, sanitary helpers, policemen. What happened? They miss the touch of their parents. So cognitive development delays. They cannot think over, and then they cannot develop. It delays, actually. We have seen that the children, they need a feel. They have to touch and feel. Only when you, that is what teachers are encouraged to do. We have to give the feel to the children. Yeah, we are here. Otherwise, we could have done everything through via online, right? Nowadays, we are experiencing that also. There is a vast difference between online teaching and as well as our traditional stereotyped method of teaching, right? So there is a vast difference we can really see this time, or today, in our day-to-day life. We are experiencing that. So how far the children are affected now, how far we are able to cope up with the children's mindset now, we are all aware of these things. So the cognitive development delays because of that. Then serotonin deficiency, actually, it helps in the feeling of well-being, and serotonin helps to develop a kind of feeling that is, it gives us a kind of, okay, I'm good, I'm well, a happiness. When you are happy, all these things, the serotonin secretes. But what happens now, because of this deficiency, it is associated with the symptoms of depression and suicidal behavior. So this is the impact of a lack of positive touch that we give. And normally women are described as, they are the invincible model. They can empower themselves in all situations. They are the personification of initiation, and they are the perfect motivators also. So they can manage things in an orderly form. They are able to do it, and they can face criticism. So women, as we have seen, they are unbeatable in every situations. In any situations, they will be able to motivate everyone. Their mere presence in the family, we have seen during this lockdown, their mere presence in the family help every family members to do their work so well. Whatever the situation may be, the women initiate the day with with bright colors or with a positive note that helps them to being a self motivator. So they manage things so well in the home. Though they face criticism in their life, they are able to do it so well. But reality is, as a victim, the women are forced to think it is not your fault, the fault of thinking. So during this pandemic, we can say so many abuses, domestic violences. We have seen that all these things have been so far in the society. So many cases have been filed, we have seen, and because of domestic violences. See, women normally they used to have a little space in their home when everyone goes for the work. But now during this lockdown, that little space is lost. So they study to enrich themselves, and they don't study to you know they study to enrich themselves as well as others. They are not as selfish as we think. So, but in reality, they are considered to be the victim. They are the marginalized. They are really suppressed with everything that goes around them, out of suspicion, out of fear. So this is the psychosocial impact that the women are facing in the society. And here again I comes to the defense mechanism. So how are we using this? This is the situation of the pandemic, and this is how the people suffer during pandemic, and what are all the things that we do during this pandemic that we have seen. And here why we use this defense mechanisms. And after this post pandemic period will be, you can think uh, so many unusual because things may happen because of the uncertainty in life. So there is a possibility of people to use defense mechanisms uh, as a tool to come out of their ego, or to hide something that already exists, or to show that they are not affected, in order to bolster themselves. So it is a kind of self deception actually. This is an unconscious process, okay. You're not doing this consciously. It is an unconscious process, and they simply change the way the person think about it. Defense mechanism did that. So an alternate type of adaptational strategy. It is actually an alternate way of doing things. So found in the everyday behavior of normal people. You can see this in the everyday behavior. Do not alter the objective conditions of danger. Okay, this is if we, as I told you, if we use this defense mechanisms in a dominant mode, it may result in danger. We may know, I just cope in order to cope up with the situation. I use this defense mechanism, or I just use, like I have used a compensation. It's a kind of defense mechanism. In order to cope up with this, I have used repression, a defense mechanism. But there is a difference between defense mechanism and coping up with the situation. So defense mechanism is you do consciously, and coping up as you do unconsciously. All right. So defense mechanism is used intentionally, and coping up of events you do non-intentionally. And what is the use of mechanisms? They increase satisfaction in living. Okay, and that's why. And when it is used, as I have told you, it completely gives the personality maladjustment. And here there is a defense mechanism, that is displacement. What is displacement? It's a kind of defense mechanism. So in displacement, one particular motive or emotion is turned from its natural object to some other object. You don't show the anger on the particular person to whom you have to show, but what you do, you turn and show it towards other. So displaced aggression results in scapegoating, actually. Those who are affected, or the minorities who are affected, there are victims, the subaltern people are completely getting affected. So escape individual is an innocent subject here. Okay, see, when you are not able to show anger, if, for example, if your boss is showing a kind of angry towards you because of some reason, you cannot show the anger back to your boss immediately in the particular environment, because you are aware of that you are in a job. You cannot do that, right? Even though you experience a kind of frustration, you cannot show that in your place, because you are aware that you cannot do it, right? So what you do, you come to your home and you show that particular, you carry the anger in your mind, and you express your anger, and you show your anger by kicking your pet dog, or by throwing your shoes or your tie or something over the floor, or by shouting at your, if there is an elder or younger sister or somebody is there at home, shouting at them, and see, you cannot, as you cannot, this is kind of displacement, this is a kind of defense mechanism you use. So escape individual, as I told you, is an innocent subject. The individual doesn't know that he is using his defense mechanism of displacement there, right? So he who experienced the frustration experienced by others. So it is a kind of scapegoating. Actually, in Look Back in Anger play, what happens, it's by Osborne. He deals with an authentic picture of the younger generation in post-World War period. See, during the post-World War, and we can even, that's what I'm telling you, after during post-pandemic period, there will be more aggression, there will be more frustration, all these things will be there in the mind of the younger generation, maybe. So we have to help them to come out of all these things. When we came to know that they are using this defense mechanism in the right way, it's okay. But when they use it in the other way, we have to be very careful, and we have to guide them. So in Look Back in Anger, a play by John Osborne, there was a young man who belonged to working class, overeducated and underemployed. Okay, his name was given as Jimmy Porter. So he was completely dissatisfied with the world that offers him no social opportunities was there. So here also people say that for 6 months or so, there will not be any proper opportunities will be there for the students. So once again, I repeat, we are here to help them, actually. So in the play, Jimmy Porter, who was portrayed as a young man of working class, and he was overeducated but underemployed, and his wife name is Allison, and he thinks that his wife name is Allison. He married Jimmy Potter, who belongs to normal class people. He married the person from the upper class people. So what happens? Jimmy thinks that suffering is the only way of experience only way to experience true human emotion, and that Allison and other upper class people are therefore less alive than he is. So he says only we people suffer. The upper class people, they don't suffer. That is what he carries in his mind. So what he always does is the anger that he carries towards the society, he shows in a displacement mechanism, using displacement mechanism on his wife. So Jimmy insults her family, insults Allison's family, and complains that all women are out to destroy them. And also he always complains, no, you people, or you people belong to upper class and you don't know what suffering is. So Jimmy was too angry that he went to the extent of saying, or even explodes cursing her, I wish you could have a child and it would die. See, he was no man will say that his or that his own child should die, right? But he is carrying the anger in his mind or heart so adversely that he says that I wish you could have a child and it would die. So he sarcastically remarks then and there that he is the that she is very bad. She is from a very bad atmosphere who never ever experienced suffering. So Allison used to say that she felt that a hostage from those sections of society they had declared war on. So she feels that she was like a hostage in the family. She is not enjoying the family life so well. So this is a displacement. Here Allison is the scapegoat. She is suffering in the hands of Jimmy Porter because of the defense mechanism he uses, displacement. He was not able to be against the upper class people directly. He told that I suffered so much from my younger early childhood. I lost my father. I don't have a proper place to work on. I'm overeducated, but I'm not able to find a place to work on because of you upper class people. That is what his allegations are. So using all these things, he is really taunting his wife, even without showing a concern towards her. That is what. And next is one minute, regression. That is it's a kind of, it's another self defense mechanism. Regression, it is nothing but you go back to your early childhood. Sometimes some people used to have a teddy bear or something they used to have in their hand always when they go to bed. This might be their practice. So when they go for a job or somewhere and they are compelled to be in the hostel, so there they don't have all these kinds to protect themselves. So they might call back to their home and they ask their parents to send the toys actually. So when they send the toys back, or it might be a teddy bear, a small object which they used to carry right from their childhood, it may be anything like that. So what they do, they carry the bear along, with them on the bed, so that they might feel, okay, I'm at home. They can come out of the homesickness. So in order to come out of that, they use that particular object. That is regression, right? They go back tracking, right? And see, an individual, when they create a scene or threatening, actually we can identify people, one who is suffering out of regression, or one who uses defense mechanism in a dominant mode. Those people or those individual may threaten the people. No, I'm going to leave my home. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to eat. All these threatening some adults may do in the home, right? So this is only because of regression, the defense mechanism. So extreme form of regressive behavior is typical in some mental disorders. It may result like schizophrenia. So if they use regression in an extreme manner, so matured adult level, and they may be adult but they behave so childish. So we may wonder why this person is behave so childish. They may unwilling to eat. No, I don't want to eat today. They know without eating their health may get affected. They cannot do things so well. Only if they take the breakfast in the morning they'll be able to do well. All these things we will be aware of as an adult. But what happens is they behave so unwillingly that they don't want to eat, they don't want to take bath, or they don't want to dress himself or herself so well. So if they suffer, this is the extreme mode of behavior of regression, childish, typical childish ways of behaving. So they used to pout their face, right? Some, you can say, some adult people, you can say, they used to pout their face, and like this they used to keep, and they suffer out of homesickness. These are all the examples, or these are all the symptoms, or these are all the behavior that they show that they are suffering, or they are using the defense mechanism, regression. So this is due to insecure feel. They are the daydreamers, and there is a sense of failure will be there, and they used to overwhelming regression will be there. Okay, so these are all due to insecure feel, daydreamers, sense of failure, all these things that happens because of regression. And then see, I can even say in regression, I mean in regression, see, when that there was a story, like it was from a gateman's gift. There was a person, a gatekeeper called Govind Singh, and he was an ex-serviceman. And after the retirement, he received a pension of 12 rupees. Okay, his life went on so well; he was quite satisfied, and his life moved on smoothly. So on leisure time, one day, what he did, he discovered that he was able to make fascinating dolls out of clay. So what he did, every month he used to go to his office, give back, get back the pension. So one fine day, he made a model of his own office, and he went to the office to get the pension, and he hand over the masterpiece of the clay model to him, and he came back. And what happened? He received a first registered letter from the office. That was the first registered letter in all through his life he received for the first time. So he was afraid telling his wife. He was telling that his job he may lose his job, and that is the pension. He started, they may stop sending me the pension, and I may not be able to continue getting my pension, and my life is going to end. All these things without opening the register letter, he started blabbering like this. He started behaving so madly. And while he was watching, while he was walking on the road, he saw a bulb on a tall street light. So when he saw the bulb, it was a pipe. So what he did during childhood, he went back, he uses regression, and what he did, he thought of cracking the bulb. So he told that it had been long cherished desire in him to throw a stone at the street light or the papaya. So what he did, so the long-term desire that he carries in his mind. So now, due to the frustration that he carries in his mind, he wants to go back to his childhood, and he take a stone from the road, and he thrown towards the street light. So this is the regression activity. And then comes the compensation. This is another defense mechanism. So it is nothing but and this was used by Alfred and in relation to inferior effects. So this mechanism that disabled people or come to excel in a certain sphere of activity. So when you have some flaws or weaknesses, so in order to compensate that, you use this compensation mechanism. So it covers the weaknesses, frustrations, desires, feelings of inadequacy or incompetence in one life area through the gratification or excellence in another area. This is compensation. And these people, what they do, that is a strong and natural tendency to conceal. They don't want to show that they are weak. They don't want to show their weakness to others. They strive for superiority. Okay, example, Steve Wonder and Demosthenes, right? So and narcissist people, so one who have an excessive fear of aging. Narcissist people are the one, they love us themselves. Self-love people are narcissist people. Now you can see the selfie, the culture of selfie has increased the narcissism within the people. Okay, narcissism can be seen in the light of compensation. Like people who are narcissists suppress the feelings of low esteem by talking highly about themselves. They always talk highly about themselves and making contact with persons they admire. And you can see, and also compensation is used by some young men, like poor athlete maybe, even in the classroom we can say a person, one who a student, one who cannot participate in athletic games or something, they want to compensate by being in a drama club or a school newspaper activity. They find their complete involvement in that. So one who is inferior in maths class, you can say they overcompensate depending on teachers and other academic activities. They just want to hide their weaknesses, and they just want to show you that they are not suffering out of all these things, and this is compensation. And then denial. See, as I have told you, denial is a common thing, a defense mechanism which we normally use in our day-to-day life. When we feel uncomfortable or painful, we reject. No, it's not. When we use defense mechanism, so when we are uncomfortable or painful, we use this. And when subject deny the reality of unpleasant fact altogether. So when you feel unpleasant, no, see, some may have a kind of illness in their body, but they don't want to show it to the people. They don't want to tell everyone that they suffer out of. So what they say, no, I'm perfectly all right. I'm not suffering out of this. So this is called denial. Okay. Then admit the fact, but deny its seriousness. So there is minimization. Though the fact, yeah, I do have this problem, but it is not that serious. I can manage with this. So this is another denial, that is minimization. And then transference, right? That is admit both the fact and seriousness, but deny responsibility. They don't want to see. They admit, yeah, I do have all these problems. I have weakness. I may not be able to I may not be able to write with the proper handwriting and the seriousness of it, but they deny the responsibility. Okay, they no, I don't want to carry out this responsibility. So when anyone is not ready to accept any responsibility, what happens actually? The we can easily identify that they are using the defense mechanism denial. Okay, so they want to skip off the responsibility. They don't want to stick on to the responsibility they ever. That is denial. And then projection. See, for example, a self, it is a kind of, actually projection is another defense mechanism where there is a self-fulfilling fantasy. It is a kind of self-fulfilling fantasy. Blaming others. By blaming others, we feel quite calm. And tending to force on another person one's own unrealized, frustrated ambitions. See, for example, you may dislike your co-worker, but instead of accepting that, what you choose to tell yourself that they dislike you. Okay, you see in their actions the things that you wish you could do so. Okay, so when you don't tell them directly, but you tell what is in your mind by using others. So children are the victims of their parents' ambitions. The parents really want to do something good. They want to they would have had a dream that they want to become a doctor, but they wouldn't have. So what they do, they automatically lay their ambition on you. That is what. Okay, that is projection. And others, they feel, they are maintaining, because in order to maintain their social status and self-worth, they use projection. Example, some students may cheat in the examination, and they when a student says that everyone cheats, some may tell that everyone is copying in the examination. Some may come to us and inform us. So actually, he or she might have done that. In order to hide it, they project what they have done on. They become as everyone's deed. So they use the defense mechanism projection in order to show that they are good and everyone is wrong. Likewise, they used to do. And daydreaming. When people daydream much, it is also a kind of projection. That is the self-defense mechanism they use there. And intellectualization. So, it is a kind of detachment from an emotionally threatening situation by dealing with an abstract and intellectual forms. Intellectualization, actually, when people they, when you come to the doctors, they used to tell, they use intellectualization. They used to tell that they treat the patients with their intellectual. They should not, or they must not show emotions there. They have to use the defense mechanism, intellectualization. If they use their emotion there instead of intellectualization, they may not be able to do their work in a satisfying manner. So they use intellectualization, a defense mechanism, detachment. They show as though they are detached from the patient. Uh, Not every time, but certain times while during surgery or something like that. So that is intellectualization, a defense mechanism. And then rationalization, sorry. See, rationalization now, this is like Aesop's the fox and grapes fable, that is protecting of feelings of worth for self-esteem, making excuses for behavior, good reasons for real reasons. The Aesop's fable, the fox and the grapes story, can be the best example, as I told you. In our day-to-day life, we can see a boy who comes to the class late. They say the clock was slow, or the breakfast was delayed, or bus was late. So all these reasons they give rationalization. They make excuses, good reasons for real reasons. They give somehow or the other. They come out with the reasons, but those reasons are not real. Okay, so people who are jealousy may also use this mechanism. Okay, when they are jealous of us, they use rationalization. They may complain about what they have, make make sour grapes comments. They used to tell, if the people they didn't go for any professional courses, they say, no, this is not nowadays there is no scope for this course. So we give excuse. And also some people, in order to maintain the status, what they do, they give real reasons, good reasons, in order to belittle the person who has aroused jealousy. Okay, I don't want this because this grapes is sour, as the fox told. This is rationalization. And how actually, while we rationalization, it eases our disappointment. We fail to reach a goal. Okay. See, example, I don't want your, we used to say sometimes, I don't want it anyway. It provides us with acceptable motives for our behavior. Example, stealing from a store and telling that he doesn't matter, and they will millions in turnover. Hope you understand, right? Somebody is stealing something from the store, and they told, by taking this unknowingly from this mall or from this supermarket, this is not going to give the person a big loss. So I did this. All right. So in order to ease our disappointments, we happen to give this kind of reasons, or use this defense mechanism, rationalization there. And identification. Actually, identification is sometimes good because it raises a person's self-esteem by imagining that he resembles the most powerful person. So only for this, the people use identification. He identifies himself with someone else's characteristics. We may see all these things in our day-to-day life, right from our home and to the society. If we see all these, the people, when they don't want to do something, they stick on to some person, identify themselves with some people, and they never go up, but till their death they will be with the people, identifying that as though they are bigger as the person to whom he or she is attached to, right? That is, so actually identification is harmful if it is so severe, because it may tend to lose the person's identity and individuality. And a boy who is frustrated, actually, who uses this identification is a boy who feels frustrated by his lack of athletic ability. Will find too much pleasure in the victories of his school's football team. He not able to active activities, but feel with the responsibility. So those people use identification, and hero worshipping. An individual identifies with a popular hero or actor, that is identification. And here, see, these defense mechanisms people use uh, in order to safeguard themselves, in order to get a significance in the environment or in society. Actions based on such defense mechanisms may not be helpful to attain their goals fully. May not be able to reach their goal fully. For a time being, for a while, they can use this. The drive may be on and on. As we have seen, there will, you cannot put an end to the drive that they have. It will be on and on, may not be completely tension free also. There will be tension if we use those defense mechanisms. But what happens? It offers protection until the person can reach a realistic solution. Okay, that is what defense mechanisms used to do. And what we can do in order to make ourselves free of or not get a mental hygienic environment, you can start with the journal writing. You can have good social interaction and make possibilities as potentials. Okay, these are things that you have to do. Journal writing. Why do we concentrate on journal writing? Because it allows you to record your thoughts. It's very, very important. Okay? It allows you to record your thoughts. It allows you to start thinking. Thinking leads to productive actions, as we have seen. And the thinking is abstract, whereas writing is more concrete. See, writing, as we have seen, it is for therapeutic purpose, and writers write. So this really helps them. Thinking, writing is a great medicine, self-healing. So we can write. It takes our mind away from stress, fear, and questions. And we need to have social interactions for sure. See, before that, we must know that traditional society, there is traditional society and open society. So when you take traditional society, it has its basis on tradition, human behavior, interrelationship, you can see, the social intercourse, guided by religion and spiritual love. So family gets a special significance. Comparative, comparative conformity in social life of sentiments you can see in the traditional society. Importance to public opinion is there in the traditional society, and unrestricted and progressive activity you can see. Lesser social mobility will be there, though less space for social change in the traditional society, but then there is a guidance in the traditional society. So when you take open society, there is an opportunity. It is actually an opposite of traditional society. Traditions, unrestricted and complete freedom of social intercourse. But we must be, only when we are aware of what is open society, we will be able to have social interaction. What is the use of social interaction? What are all the things that we gain out of social interaction? Being alone or isolated, we may not be able to do anything so well. And as per the saying, healing doesn't mean the damage never exists. It means the damage no longer controls your life, but healing does. So here we have seen we can adopted pattern of education or something. So digital readiness, the trap of technology has been for learning using digital learning and plans. Video conferencing is there, and adding flexibility to curriculum. Everything has changed, and the global webinars for teachers worldwide during pandemic has been going on, and innovative online instruction is also there in this period. And human realization. We must realize, we human beings,
Yes, ma'am.
can you come in?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes. Yeah. society actually, the pandemic is a challenge, as I told you. There is instability, uncertainty, and crisis in all forms. It creates fear, panic, and we suffer out of stigmatization experiences and calls to action that seem to characterize the immediate reaction. So society is burned wide or caught up the time being in an extraordinary emotional maelstrom, we can say, and it is beyond anyone's control. So what is the society's response to challenges? So an existential threat is there, socioeconomic apparatus, biological and the cultural form get collapsed, totalitarian regime was there, globalization into social distancing. And we, as a teachers, teaching profession, so as we for profession should know what is expected as a professional, know how to apply professional ethics in particular cases and issues. So for the achievement of the organizational goals, we have to work. The harmonious relationship in the working part, we have to work. And if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. We have to keep that in our mind. So refrain from instigating students against other students or colleagues. Inculcate scientific outlook. So assessment only on the basis of merit, not to intentionally or unintentionally expose the student to embarrassment. Provide academic or scholarly assistance and protect their academic freedom. Respect their sentiments, which is very, very important. And above all, as an educator, be a self-motivator. Don't let small minds convince you that your dreams are too big. Keep fighting. See, so many things are there. This is really tough, some may say. How will you manage to do this on your own? Some may say. That's waste of time, some may say. What if you fail? Some may say. So many of them will be there to demotivate you. But as an educator, you must be a self-motivator. Only then we will be able to make our children get motivated in all ways. So as Gayatri's 5 words, I would like to leave here. Human behavior is the best medicine in the post-pandemic period. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Dear participants, if you ask your questions, please raise your hand. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Dr. Hamilton, ma'am. Yes. Panelist participants, please unmute yourself. Talk to her, please.
Hello, you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So, your lecture was very good, very nice. You described the topic, a very difficult topic, in an interesting way.
Thank you so much.
But in my point of view, an emotional hijack refers to a situation in which the amygdala, the part of the brain that serves as our emotional process, hijacks or bypass our normal reasoning process. So my question is how to escape an emotional hijack. And secondly, phobia and other points you described. But in my point that emotional hijack is a common problem which affect on the total personality of the person. So how can we handle? Many times it is very difficult.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, of course, it's really a difficult task to. It's a difficult process. We may not put an end to it, but we can try to eradicate when we find out all these things with the people around us. Especially be an educationist, when we spot out this person with our children inside the classroom, we just want to give them counseling. We have to approach them and talk to them about the problems they do have, they come across. So we must teach them this emotional. If you use this, if you hijack your emotion at this moment for a while, this is not going to help you in the whole process of your life to come out of. one time or the other, you have to face the problem. That kind of confidence we have to give to the people or the students, especially for the future generations. We have to instill in our mind only by talking to them. Ma'am, nowadays the people are not ready to sit and hear or sit and talk to us. They completely deny the process of sitting and talking with each other. They don't come for that. So when we do this, when we start with the children inside the classroom or in an institution or in our family, so when we start talking to the people, we will be able to identify and we can really help them come out of it. But completely, it is not 100%. We cannot we live a life without using this emotional, defense mechanisms, ma'am. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes,
Hello.
Anu.
Yes. Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much, ma'am, for this
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah,
I'm
thank you.
Anu Peters and I'm from Kerala. And
Okay.
first of all, I would like to say it was a wonderful, amazing session, ma'am, because
Thank
it
you
was
so
so much informative. And I'm
you.
really, I'm the person who I feel like blessed so that I could attend such a
Thank
session.
you. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much,
much,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thanks a
And
lot.
ma'am,
Thanks a lot.
I have one
Yes, ma'am.
query that is
Yes, ma'am.
now, as we are educators, we are guiding so many, and the responsibility that comes to ours, that is really, really tough sometimes. And
Yes.
ma'am, as you said, as a woman, I am handling both my household chores as well as, meanwhile, I have to handle my professional life too. So that is really tough, and it was so much informative that I got so many clues from your session. But I have the query:
Thank you.
whenever we are guiding our children, especially the students, including our own sons and daughters, how we can make them feel that they are not isolated. And one thing I usually follow in my online classes is that I allow them to interact. I allow them to do messaging partially, not for the whole time. I allow interaction session. That is the one thing I do. And the second thing, I allot my weekly days 1 hour for them so that they can call me and I communicate with them. Then another thing, I arrange webinars for the parents. So the parents and the students, they all together come and they sit so that so I make them and I make that they are not isolated. But sometimes it's difficult that to make them a feeling that they are not isolated. How can we add on? How can we use any another teaching strategy? Is there any another methodology by which they can be made assured that they are not isolated? That's the question, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Actually, you're doing a great job. Actually, I too have learned many things from you. It's too good to hear that you are really student-centered educator, right? Because nowadays we are our presence, or to make sure that the mere presence of the teachers are really making a great difference in the life of the students is a must nowadays. So as per you, you are doing so well. The thing is, ma'am, sometimes you have to have a chart with the children, what they did yesterday and what they are now today. So when you find a little bit difference in their way of answering, we will be able to pick out, or we will be able to find fault, to be frank, the mistakes we will be able to identify so well. So when you find a slight difference in their way of answering or in the mind, so you check whether your basic need is being fulfilled. You check with the children whether your basic need, that is food, shelter, clothing, is that good. As we used to see in the Maslow's hierarchy needs. So you check with the other need of the child. So whether that is okay with the child. So we have to make sure, pick the child, have a chart, just go through that, and also ensure the children that I will not leave you abandoned. I will always be at the back of you, helping you to come out of any situations, any distress. As you told, you are giving a very good space and you are arranging webinars for the parents also, which is really welcome, a very appreciable act, ma'am. So automatically the students will learn in the course, not now. See, anything that we do now the children may not be able to grasp it and they may not be able to understand immediately, because that's what we are saying. The online has made that even more very big wide gap. So in order to bridge the gap between these between student community and the teachers, what we have to do is always make sure that we are behind at the back. Any help for matters, we have to do them. A kind of, we cannot give a touch to the children as we are in online, and we cannot follow them 8 hours. If they are inside the campus, now they are in their home, so they might have so many problems in their home. Apart from that, keeping everything away, they attend our classes. We must understand that first. So on analyzing everything, the only thing I wish to tell is we have to shower love upon them. That is the only thing. Love is the only thing that holds us together, than being than showing that we are the teachers, or that I am an educator. We have to put everything aside and we have to show love, spread love, so that they'll also learn that and they'll be able to cope up with their life, and also you will always be in their mind forever. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Anu.
Very wonderful.
Thank you.
Please, anyone? Okay. Ma'am, shall I read the question, ma'am? Question and answer box?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
From Shankar, physics.
Yes.
How manage love failure?
See, see, I don't know what to answer for this, right? But then let me try to see. Love is everywhere. You must believe that. You receive that from your parents first. No or nothing can beyond that. Your parents' love is the most valuable. You must understand that. And you must understand one thing: the people whom you love is not the last person in the world. The world is too wide, and you have so many people to shower love. See, don't always expect people to love you alone. Why don't you begin? You start loving people around you. There are people who needs love. There are people who really craves for it. You can start spreading your love to those kind of people, than being expecting love from others and sitting in failures and going in depression. That is not really going to help us. Life is wonderful. God has given this beautiful life to us. So this is actually a part, I would say. This is actually a chapter. So once when you experience, as per you told, it's love failure. When you experience, or when people around you experience that, tell them that this is not the whole life. Life is vast. So you see, you can see so many of them that they are really waiting people to love them. So you can concentrate on that. Take diversion. Learn to take diversion. That is what education teaches us. If we are a well-educated person, there is nothing like failure. There is nothing, a word called failure. We must be able to come out of all the obstacles and hurdles and all the things in our life, so that our children or our students whom we meet in our day-to-day life will take us as an example, and they will be able to be a good personality in the society. That is what. Thank you.
Ma'am, next question. Difference between anxiety, stress, and phobia. Difference between anxiety, stress, and phobia.
Okay, fine. See, anxiety is nothing but, anticipated illness. Actually, nothing like that. no fear, no nothing at all. Oh, will this happen? Will I get fail in the examination? Will I not be able to prosper in my life? This is anxiety. All right. Phobia, you have a fear for some, towards a particular object. That is phobia. That's all, no, ma'am? Or
Yes, ma'am.
obsession also. Ah, yeah. Thank you.
Then Sunil Kumar Yadav, please give some physical practices to overcome depression.
See, the only thing that you can do to overcome depression is, you have to go for meditation. Just it is not related with any religion or something like that. It is to self-analyze, to introspect yourself. You sit very calmly, morning time. It is not you need a place, separate thing, nothing like that. You sit in a place, quiet and calm, for 5 minutes every day. That will really help you a lot. Just believe that you can do everything so well. Just believe that you are able to achieve certain things today. You believe that this is the luckiest day in your life that God has given you. These are the mantras which you tell in your mind, and you sit just for 5 to 10 minutes daily in the early morning. Better you do this during early morning time, so that it will be easy for you without any noise, and without any disturbances. You will be able to do it. So if you do this for 10 to 5 minutes daily, you will be able to come out of depression so well. Thank you.
Ma'am, Anbu Mani, a student suffered
Yeah.
from fits. A student suffered from fits, so his parents don't allow him to wander with his friends, to go for tour and other places, and don't allow him to ride bike. So the student always feel guilty or self-blame. How can cope up the guy with this, ma'am? Guy with this.
Yeah, yeah. See, self-blaming, as I have told you, this comes out of inferior feel. See, you have to show them the other world. There are people without, you have to, without all the blessings that you have in your life. You have to teach them to count the blessings that he or she has in his life. So when you started counting the blessings that you have in your life, all the negative things or all the denied things that has been experienced by the particular individual will be solved easily. Thank you.
Ma'am, Gurunathan from
Yes, ma'am.
How to Always Be Enthusiastic.
See, just be good. That's it. You know, don't expect anything. That is what I used to tell. Don't expect anything. Just go on doing your work with. Though sometimes we may be able to do it with perfection, sometimes we may not be able to do it with perfection. That is not the matter. But just be good in what you do. Try to do with perfection. Always be a be a self motivator. Say, I am the one. God has given me this life. Life is beautiful. Tell this mantra again, right? See, it's a wonder that we are in this world. And so you have to be thankful for everything. We are practice. I just want to register here. You just take a notebook and towards the end of the day, just write down what are all the blessings that you have got in your life today. No, nothing. Sometimes you may think, no, I didn't get anything today. No, I'm not. So even if you feel as such, you I thank God for I have got two eyes. I thank God that I have got one nose. I thank God I do have got two hands. I'm perfect with my physical appearance. I thank God for that. Just write that and keep it aside. You make it a practice that you write, you start thanking or you're grateful to God for each and everything that you have in your life daily. Make a note of it, write it about. You can wonder within 1 year, you may find some other note also to write up all your miracles or the blessings or the gratefulness that you receive from God. Thank you.
Ma'am, last question.
Yes.
Any emotion hijacker or defense mechanism with or for positive impact?
See, positive, they are not going to give you any positive effect actually. They are just going to protect you for a while, that's it. And it is not going to help you in any way for your lifelong journey with your loved ones. Thank you.
One question from chat box. How to get
Yes,
access
ma'am.
to our subconscious? How to get access to our subconscious?
See, what I don't know actually. I don't know how to answer for this question. I'm not a spiritualistic person, or I don't know really. I'm so sorry for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Panelist participants? Yes, yes, Salman Raja sir. Please unmute yourself, please. Please unmute. Unmute. Yes, yes. You proceed.
Good morning, madam. The session is very interesting. Thank you for the organizers.
Thank you,
How
sir.
can overcome the colleagues' deceive in the academic aspects? Most of the time, we are unable to implement the above set mechanisms in front of the same department people because answer paper is already they know. How can overcome? Thank you.
Deceiving, yeah. Thank you for the question, sir. Deceiving is a part, it has become a part and parcel of this era, actually. The thing is, again, I tell you, we should not expect anything from anyone. What we do, we have to register our work for the by having, or by having God in our mind. We are doing the work for the sake of God and for the family, or and for myself, and not for anyone else. So whenever anyone deceive, when we face that particular situation, it is really hard for us to accept that first. But we must make sure that we cannot live in a perfect environment. We must accept that. Just go on. It is in the we have to accept the flow of life. All right, and we have to go close. It may be, we might think that this is a way that God has shown us to redirect our life. When you think of the deceiving, all these things, you may for at least after a 1 week or so, you may find another way or another chance to do that, only because of that deceiving that you have experienced. So that is so there is a way. There is, God is redirecting our way. We have to think in such a way, and we have to accept, and we have to go on, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
I think last one question. How to increase confidence level?
See, yeah, nice question. uh, we have to inculcate in the mind, in our mind, we are, I'm able to, I will be able to do this. This we have to tell day by day, increase us. Anything, second one, ready to face any challenges. Don't go behind and hide anywhere. Just come out, face the situation. Once if you face the situations, you may feel that no, I'm not able to do, I'm a failure. But second time when you face the situation, the situation will teach us you so many things, and you will be able to go and pour out the value of the value or the process that you have gone through to understand or get confidence, and you will become a very big self motivator. So that will really help you a lot when so try to tell yourself and believe yourself. Try to face it. Only when you face the situations, your confidence level will be increasing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good afternoon to you all. It's not joy that makes us grateful. It's a great gratitude that makes us joyful. It's my pleasure and privilege to render the vote of thanks on behalf of the Center for Capacity Building Programs for School Teachers, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, Chennai. I express my wholehearted and extend my gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chancellor for his great support to complete the national webinar successfully. Thank you, sir. Then I thank most respected registrar for his constant support. Thank you, sir. I would like to express my sincere gratitude and thanks to our Controller of Examinations, Dean of Faculty, Head of the Department of Educational Psychology, TNTU, uh, Dr. M. Govindan, sir, for his valuable support, and his personal involvement was very remarkable and helped our team to reach the top. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank Dr. X. Anita Arul, ma'am, very much for making our webinar program so special and perfect. Everyone had a great time. Everything turned out perfect, ma'am. We are also so grateful for your professionalism. Everyone was having a blast. Thank you so much, ma'am, for pulling everyone and everything together on such a wonderful talk what you have given today. We all deeply appreciate you for the excellent presentation you made at the program and getting to us so quickly. We, the teachers, educators, were enlightened by your enlightening talk, ma'am. Ma'am, your presentation was so incredible that we are finding it very difficult getting the right words to express our gratitude to you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. You have filled our brains with new ideas today. We are very much impressed with your ability to follow, and your time and efforts is much appreciated, and your lecture is certainly benefited from your breadth of knowledge and depth of expertise. Giving your time really helped to make it a success, ma'am. I feel participants who attended this program it will be able to extract best results out of students by applying these tips in their teaching. Once again, I thank you, ma'am, for having spared your precious time for all of us.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
And my special thanks to Dr. T. Premalada, Assistant Professor,
Yeah, of course.
Department of Education, Bardiyar University, to introduce eminent resource person. Thank you, Dr.
So much.
Premalada, ma'am.
I too wish to register here. My sincere thanks to Dr. Premalata, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks a lot.
And I
thank you for you too, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And I thank all the organizing members and all the organizing members also for their efficient support and encouragement to complete this successful webinar. And I'm very happy to express our thanks to all the participants who have made this webinar a grand success. Once again, thank you, one and all. Thank you so much, Dr. Anita Arul. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you all the panelists, and thank you, Dr. Professor Hemalata, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
So knowledgeable.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all the participants. Once again, thank you, one and all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shall I leave the meeting, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.